Hey, what's up? It's Dave Blair here, and we're doing some pedal reviews. We're going to look at some delay pedals, specifically the Keeley Eccos. So it's kind of like a tape-ish delay. We're going to pair it to some other ones and just give a high-level run-through. We're not going to run through all the modes and features. If you want an instructional video, go someplace else. But we're going to, as a real-world person, if I was just trying to pedal out and thinking about whether I'm going to use it, buy it, this is some of the things I do to get a general feel for the sound. So check it out. So first of all, the Eccos is like a tape-ish type of sounding delay. It's digital. The Diamond also and the T-Rex here are all digital, but they all have an analog. They're trying to sound like an analog pedal. The Eccos and the Eccos and T-Rex are kind of trying to do it for a tape thing. I think the Diamond is kind of going for a bucket brigade type of sound. But bottom line is, does it sound good or not? Forget about what it's trying to do. So let me just play like just a little chorus. Now, right now, the Eccos is in what they call a WYSIWYG mode. What you see is what you get. So the dials, that for most of this demo, I'll stay there. It has patches, presets. It has 3 presets plus the 4th preset, which is basically what you see is what you get mode, which is when you see the dots there. Nothing lighted up. And I'm going to talk about the presets, but first one, we'll talk about the sound, and then there's certain little pet peeves I have about the way the presets work. And a lot of delay pedals actually that have presets. But let's just, right now I have, as you notice, this knob here is your tone. So to switch the tone, it actually is, most of these knobs have double duty. So the big letters up top, that bottom left knob is your rate. But if you press the middle button down, it is then used as a tone. So at no point could you see visually exactly what everything is doing, because you don't know the secondary function of that knob, what it's set to, by just looking at it. So I just moved the tone to the middle, and let's see what it sounds like. It's more clear. Pretty sound, nice sound. So it's a nice smooth sound, ish. Then you could take the tone, I'll push the tone all the way down to the, it's like a high pass filter. Press the middle button. Tone this is the darkest setting. So. Notice that's like a darker, murkier sound. Kind of gets darker and murkier, like a tape-ish. Usually, like as opposed to like a bucket brigade, it gets darker as depending on the but bucket brigade ones, they tend to get more crunchy and distorted as the delay kind of goes, and this one it just kind of gets murkier and mushier, which is doesn't matter what you're going for. But the fact is, the fact that you have a tone knob on a delay is really not essential, because the Diamond sounds really good where it is. It's kind of in the middle. It's not too bright, it's not too dark, so it's a good setting. It's solid. You set it and forget it. There's not a lot of options. The Eccos is obviously way more flexible. Sound-wise, it kind of reminds me a little bit of an El Capistan, which makes sense because it's going for a tape-type sound, and then you have the tone, which could make it darker, which I like the Capistan when it's set to a darker mode. So. And what's good about, when you have a darker setting, you could do, let's say, leads. Let me throw the fuzz on. And you could do crazy leads, and it doesn't step on itself. The notes don't clash as much, so you go. Kind of cool sounding, right? Now, right now I haven't touched on the flange yet. So let's just compare. Now that's the darkest setting. Let me brighten it up to the normal. First, I want to let you hear it at the brightest tone setting. It's really a high pass filter. So as you hear that it degrades, it's getting to get it kind of like lose the bottom end, just almost the opposite of the dark setting. So it sounds. So notice, you know, your dry note, your initial note has that bottom end, and then the repeats kind of sound like telephone or AM radio-ish. They lose all the bottom end. So that's what, if you set the tone the other way. Let's put it in the middle. So this is kind of a default, middle setting. It's not doing high pass or low pass in the center, right? Nice sound. Compare it to the diamond. I think the diamond's max delay time is a little bit slower, or a little bit faster than. Yeah. That's about as slow as long as the delay time this diamond is going to give you. So notice it's not super bright, it's not super dark, it's kind of smooth though, but it has a little bit more of a percussive repeat, which is really good for slapback, which we'll get to. Different sound, but they're both pleasant sounding. But of course the Eccos is more flexible. If I say, hey, I want a darker one, just like on the El Capistan, you can get a darker setting, or whereas the diamond you get, it's a good sound, but it only has one sound basically. So let's try a slapback on both of these. A little closer to the setting. Flatback usually don't have as many repeats. It's usually like a quick blop blop. They both work as a slapback. You do. Totally, it's a nice slapback, usable slapback sound. Now let's talk about the modulation here. The thing that's unique about the Eccos that no other pedal does really is it has a flange for modulation. Most of them don't quite do that. The Diamond has a really nice modulation setting. Depth is what'll kind of turn the flange on. Let me give you a longer delay setting. So. And also this knob here affects the kind of the type of flange. See here, hear that? Now it sounds like you're underwater. opposite. Gives a different type of flange. I'm not going to try to get every possible sound this thing that you can do. You could do all sorts of crazy spaceship sounds and stuff, but just get just a general feel of the way this flange sound works. So now I have a kind of a darker setting with the flange on. Wider modulation, kind of like. I think basically the left one is the kind of the speed of the flange, and the right one is depth. And I think there's another way to. I think it's the vibe. Let's try to change the vibe. So if you press the middle one down, the secondary function for the top right knob is vibe. Let's see what that does. I think all the way to the left is a little more of like a traditional modulation, like on a tape warble, and so the right is more like a flange. I think that's from the videos I saw. So let's compare that. So that's a nice, pretty cool sound. Now I have it all the way, the secondary function at the top right to the all the way left, so it gives you like just a normal traditional-ish tape modulation. That's a nice sound. Compared to the modulation on the diamond. I have the diamond set where to get the modulation you have to hold this down, turn it red. There's different settings on the diamonds. You could turn on the modulation or off through the pedal. Usually, if I want a strong modulation but not too crazy, I kind of keep it at 3 o'clock there. So let's. Diamond has a really beautiful modulation. It's my favorite modulation on the delay pedals that I've heard. Let's compare it to the Eccos, though. Make it a little wetter, a little more depth. Pretty. If I brightened it up a little bit, less dark setting, probably give it. You probably hear the modulation a little bit more. Get it a little more similar to the diamond. I still kind of, it's a different thing. One's flange and one's a little more chorusy, but pretty cool sounds. Just they're different. If I was going for a delay with the modulation on it, though, I still kind of dig the diamond. Although the flangey thing gives you more options to give different type of spacey sounds. So it depends. This does one thing really well. This has more things it can do. Also, let's change the type of them. So I changed the vibe of the modulation. The modulation can have different vibes and obviously depth and rate, whereas the diamond, it's either on or it's either up or down. So that's kind of cool. Oh, very cool. So another thing with that flange on, you could put some fuzz on there and get some really cool stuff. I might darken it up a little bit. It's really cool, and it's obviously has a lot of feedback and it's very wet, but because it's dark, it doesn't really fight itself much. You hear that frown? It's kind of cool. Obviously, I'm Barracuda. The flange is on on the main guitar signal, not just on the thing. But it's really cool. There's not another delay pedal that gets you that sound. So you got a pretty good idea of it. Sounds great. I mean, it really sounds cool. It does a lot of stuff. Very flexible for for a small footprint. Has presets. So I mean, I was really digging the El Capistan, but now that I've heard this kind of sounds similar to the El Capistan, but then a lot more flexibility on with the flange, things you could do with it. They both of them give you options to do, make it brighter or darker. On the repeats, this has a smaller footprint. The El Capistan has a reverb in it that I never even used. This has a looper in it, so there's pluses and minuses. But if it was up to me, having a small footprint and presets and those cool flanging sounds, I think I would prefer this over the El Capistan. If I had to make it, just go and do a show tonight, or long term. I love the fact that it's a small footprint, really good sounding, and it's more flexible than, let's say, the Diamond. You get sounds similar in quality to the Diamond. The Diamond has a certain thing, I wouldn't get rid of it because the modulation on it just sounds beautiful to me, and it's a good meat and potatoes, does what it does really well. I don't think the Eccos has a way to do the dotted A things and stuff that Diamond does, but I never use that anyway. Like the different timing, delays, triplets, and things. The one pet peeve I do have about this is the way the presets are set up. So you have 3 presets plus a WYSIWYG mode, which is great, compared to, let's say, the D1, which does not have a WYSIWYG mode and has 3 presets, compared to the Quadrant, which I don't know. I think it has a WYSIWYG mode and 3 presets, if I remember correctly. But the thing I did not like about the Quadrant is that to switch patches, you have to hold down the button. So if you get from patch 1 to patch 3, you have to go click, hold down, and by then you're 2 bars into the song. If I'm playing, I'm singing, I gotta go click, click, and get into the patch for the solo, whatever. Pink Floyd is solo with the delay, and then I got to go back to something else for, for a clean tone that's a little different, whatever. This has a lot of different flexible things, so you could have easily use 3 patches for 3 completely different sounds and that are used in different songs, but you need to get it to them quick. What I did like about the D1 is that to change patches, you hit both buttons at the same time, and that's it. So you don't have to hold it down. You could quickly go from patch 1 to patch 3 by going blip, blip. You see my fingers, blip, blip. That I really did dig. I did on the D1, which is by Walrus. I did not like that didn't have a WYSIWYG mode. What I did like is that it's color coded, because in the dark, okay, let's try to change the patch on this now. So you got to hit the left button twice. Now you're in patch changing mode. It's in 3 dots is the WYSIWYG mode. Patch 1, patch 2, patch 3, and then it's not there yet. Now I'm in the mode. Now I'm in the patch C. So I have to go back and forth, the left side twice, the right side till I get to the patch, and then the left side again to turn, to click into that, to turn on that bank, that preset. That to me is unnecessarily complex. I'm on stage, I'm singing, I'm playing, I'm running the mixer, I'm looking at lyrics, I'm dealing with the audience, queuing off the drummer, whatever, and then I'm gonna have to go click, 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 find the, So that to me is unnecessary complex, which it is a downside to this pedal. Hopefully, if they do a version 2, they make it easier, because it doesn't make any sense that you would have to go through the bank. When you're live on stage, you can't. I got to click, click, and I messed with it. I did a couple of live streams with it, and it did mess me up a couple of times. I hit the wrong patch or whatever. Whereas with the D1, never had that problem. It was like, and also the D1 is color coded, so it's the green, red, or whatever the color is, yellow or whatever it is. Here in the dark club, you got to remember, all you're seeing is a red light. Is it the first one, the second one, the third one? I can only tell by how close it is, to the other blue lights or whatever on the sides, which, you're standing up in a dark club, if I don't have my glasses on, it's just a red blur. So color coding the lights and having it easier to change the patch would make so much better. I would probably buy it tomorrow. But overall, this is a really good option pedal. It does a lot of cool stuff. It's not too complicated to use. It has the secondary knobs, but it does a lot in a small package. I prefer it. I like this one better than the D1. The D1 had a lot of functions that you could do, and they're probably in the same vein, because they're small. They have presets. They have a lot of options. It's a small footprint. The D1 has more things. It does reverse. It does bucket brigade, tap. But for me, it's just like, I want one that's going to sound the best. I don't care if it has 10 million different modes. I want one really good sound that's flexible. So this is a really good sound, just as it is. And then you could make it darker or brighter. And then there's lots of things you could do with the flange. You could do different types of flange, and then mess with the depth and the rate. And right there, you could get a lot of very, very different sounding flanges, which in a sense, it probably makes it a little more flexible than D1, even though it doesn't have a reverse mode or whatever. And then now the D1 had a tone, just like this one does, and it also had an attack, which is a brilliant concept, which you could soften the initial attack. But I think you could accomplish something similar by just making it dark on this one. It doesn't have a degraded tape-ish. It just makes it brighter or darker with the tone. But I did not, on the D1, I just wasn't loving when I was trying to get like a degraded tape sound dark like we did here, or the El Capistan has when the tone is darker. And I just couldn't, it didn't sound right to me. It sounded like a clear pedal that sounded good, and then when I made it dark and tried to make it grittier, it sounded like it was just adding digital artifacts to make it sound distorted to me. This one sounds just like, it sounds nice and warm. Let's see. Let's go back to the WYSIWYG mode. See? Click. Shit. See what I'm talking about? Click, click. WYSIWYG mode. Now I'm there, and then the lights go off. So. Something like that. think it does have a tapish sound. I like the sounds. Uh, like again, the most thing this reminds me of a little bit sound-wise is the El Capistan, but it's smaller footprint, has presets. It's got there's a lot of flange options. So if I had to make a call, I might go with this over the El Capistan. If you're looking at that one, consider this one. And the weird thing is, I liked the way the tone works on this one. And when I looked at the demos on videos, I did not like the way it sounded. So there you go. Be careful from demos. If ever, people use it different with different guitar, different amps. When I use this, I actually wind up liking the sound of this better than the D1. And even though on the videos I thought the D1 sounded better than this. And people are raving about the D1. Some people are raving about this. It's how you play, what you're going to use, what you feel connecting with. Sometimes I'll use a pedal and I won't quite connect with it at first, but then I'll use it on a gig and I'm like, wow, I really dialed in a cool thing that worked with my songs, and you start connecting with it. So I'd say that's why I like Pedal Genie, and I know I don't get any money from them or anything, but Pedal Genie is great because you could actually take the gig, outrun it, do it unless you play something at a gig or two, it's really just playing it on your couch. It doesn't really tell you what because what happens is you might put a new pedal on your board, and keep maybe both of them, the old one and the new one, and believe me, at 2-3 songs in, you wind up gravitating to one a lot more than the other, and then you'll know by the end of the night, wow, I just had a sound with that one, and sometimes you're struggling with it and you're tweaking settings, hoping you get it to where you need it to love it, and sometimes you do, and sometimes it's like, I was playing with it all night, I never fucking connected with it, pardon my language. And other times it's like, wait, at first it didn't work, but then once I dialed it in a little bit, oh man, I was using it all night long, and so, but you got to use it in real world. Sitting on your couch playing with it is great, but sometimes you get sounds that oh wow, this is gonna be so great, and then live it doesn't translate as much. So anyway, but I dig the sound. I think my favorite is with the fuzz though. So if I tune fuzz, put a little boost on it. That is pretty badass, I gotta say, because how wet is it? I mean, it's going on forever. I got really wet, but it didn't interfere with just so much was going on in the background, but it didn't interfere with my playing, I mean, I was playing a relatively slow thing, but still. That's cool. And then if I put it, a clean thing, Okay, so my overall, it's like I really dig this pedal. I would consider getting it. I don't like how it switches the patches. That if they came out with a version 2 where I could switch the patches the same as the D1, I could just boom, click both of them, bank up and down, and have color the lights, and the lights maybe a little bit higher so that as I'm switching patches, I could see which patch I'm in. And that's another thing, and that's a problem on a lot of pedals. I know ergonomically it's hard to get them, everything where you want it to be in the pedal without it messing up the design inside and keeping the small footprint, but still telling you what I want. Yeah, thumbs up. Really good pedal, really good sounding, good job. Just except for the switching of the presets, which irks me a little bit. So out of the ones that I've tried lately, I think this is one of my favorites actually. And I've tried, like I said, the D1, the Quadrant. Obviously, I have the Diamond and the T-Rex, and the Capistan Timeline. Like I like the sound of the Capistan over the Timeline, even though they're both Strymons. The Capistan is a little bit of a warmer tape sound, I think. I couldn't get the Timeline to be as good sounding as the El Capistan in like a tape mode, even though it has a billion different options. But I'd rather have like 2 good sounds than 50 sounds that are like not as good as the 2 good in something else. So, but it's killer sounding. I like it. I think I like the sound of this better than D1. And it has that flange mode. Yeah, definitely. And El Capistan has, I think it's comparable sound wise. I'd have to put them next to each other to know, to really decide. But this has, I think I like this better because you have the presets, you have the flange, it's a smaller footprint. I mean, for a pedal that does so much and it sounds that good for such a small footprint, it's I was surprised because I wasn't from the demos. I was like, oh, it sounds pretty good, but I thought I would like the D1 better. I thought I would like the Capistan better. Just so I was surprised. Because once again, the proof is in the playing. Like I started messing around with that sound on that fuzz pedal with this, and I was like, oh, I found something that I really like. And at the gig, at a gig, I could see myself being in that mode and just messing with this in a solo. That's wild. So yeah, you got to play with it live, and you find it dialed into a certain sound. It's like, yeah, that's it. I have that with all the different pedals. There's certain things where, oh, this pedal with the wah wah works, and blah blah blah. With pedal with the fuzz and the mixed. So good pedal, good pedal. You should buy it. No, but the preset thing does irk me. But overall, it's well done pedal. Good job. One of the better ones out there in that type of pedal. I'm still got to try the new UA pedal, UAFX. Starlight's coming out. More expensive. Doesn't have 4 presets, has 1 preset. So that's my pet peeve about that one. I haven't even tried it. But supposedly it sounds phenomenal. So I'm very, very, very curious about that one. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hasta la vista.